Hi, friends. I'm back already. I literally just released episode 4 and I'm ready to record the next episode. I was planning on recording this episode about intuition, synchronicities, manifestations. And I'm just going to go with the flow because I think all of those three things are related. I think that we do manifest things all the time, we just don't realize it. We may do it subconsciously. The whole point is to start doing it consciously. And I started manifesting really early on when I was a child. And now that I think back, obviously, it's because I tend to get obsessed with things. And when you get obsessed with things, of course, you visualize it. Of course, you have this feeling when you already have it. So I started that really early. And I remember one time we were on vacation with my family. I was about 12, and there was one more day left. It was supposed to rain, and my mom said, Irina, God loves you. Can you please ask God for it not to rain? And I was like, oh, sure. That's so cool. Wow. God loves me. That's cool. So I thought about it. I asked God for it not to rain, and it did not rain. That's just one little thing I remember. But when I really started manifesting things was when I was married. And as I mentioned previously, I was soaring. I had so much self love, so much self respect. I just kept going from one goal to the other, one goal to the other. And that's when I started manifesting things to the point where I did not know what manifestations were. People did not talk about it so much at that time. So going back at least 10 years, and to the point where I was like, oh, I am doing it. I am making these things happen. There's no way that this is possible. In real life, I made it happen. And I'm just going to give you one example. That's like the major, biggest thing that I ever manifested that I shocked myself. I was like, I cannot believe I did that. It's just impossible. How did I do this? So I was living with my ex-husband and his family for a while. It was 3 years. And again, now that I discovered who I am and what my problems were all my life, I realized that I was not speaking up for myself. There was things that were bothering me about the people we were living with, his family. Um, I'm not going to get into that. It's personal, but there were things that were bothering me. And instead of addressing them and saying them right away, I kept everything inside and it just kept adding more and more and more, where I turned into a passive aggressive bitch. Instead of saying what's on my mind, now it's all written all over my face. I cannot even make eye contact with these people that I loved so much. They are my family. And that's when I became obsessed with moving out. And my ex-husband was completely right. He was logical. He said that there's no point. We don't have enough money to buy. What's the point of renting again? And I said, I can't do this anymore. I just can't do it anymore. If we don't move, I'm going to go and live in dorms in college or something. So I was done. I wanted to go. I got so obsessed with buying a house that we had no money to put down. We had no credit. There was absolutely not a realistic idea at the time. But once something is in my mind, I cannot stop thinking about it, and I'm just gonna be obsessed with it from morning till night. Somehow we ended up getting like $15,000. We put together $15,000. Embarrassing to even think back right now. Say what are you gonna do with 15 grand? It's like just the closing cost or just a lawyer, just whatever it's gonna cost that much. But somehow I found a tiny little 1 bedroom house with no backyard, but it was very cute. It was just perfect for us. And my ex-husband also, once again, he said, I don't think that's a good idea. If we're actually going to buy, we might as well just buy like a house where we're going to live. What's the point of buying this little home and then of selling that and then buying another one? But again, once something is in my mind, I can't let go. So now we have the house. Now we need mortgage. We called a few banks and they told us it doesn't matter which bank you're going to call. You are not getting a mortgage because you already have one mortgage with your mother, your co-signer. But until you refinance, there's no way any other bank will give you mortgage. It just doesn't work like that, you know? And of course, my mother-in-law did not want to refinance, and it's fine, completely fine, but I got extremely depressed, and that was a dead end. Because if you really think about it, you have $15,000, you have no mortgage, and nobody's going to give you the mortgage because they all use the same formula, right? And no, I did not give up. I just kept going, and I don't know how I ended up calling this lady. Uh, I don't know, I think she was in North Carolina or something, Wells Fargo. And this woman approved us. She pre-approved us. We went, we got into contract, everything was happening. And then the mortgage went to, I think, underwriter. I already forgot what they called. So the mortgage went to the underwriting, and they said, lady, you made a mistake. You cannot approve these people. They have a mortgage already. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, this is what happened. And I was like, nah, no, that just no. It's just no. I need the mortgage. So I don't know what I did. I must have written, I think I was begging them. I think I was begging them to give me the mortgage. I was saying that we're already in contract. The other people already buying a house. We already buying a house. You guys, that was your mistake. Because of your mistake, you have to give it to us. And they said, we'll get back to you. And I remember there was a few days, it was a week maybe. I was so depressed. I was crippled. I could not move. I could not get out of bed. I was just waiting for that response. And my mother-in-law, she felt really bad. She saw how much I was suffering. She felt bad, but she could not refinance. She just would not do it. And we got the answer, and we got the house. So not even just now looking back, even then looking back, I said, oh my God, did I actually just do this? Did I actually just get obsessed with something to the point that impossible happened? Especially, I think people know that it's really not easy to get a mortgage. I don't know lately, but I think it's not easy to get a mortgage anymore because banks have a lot of foreclosures and they don't want to deal with it. They don't need them. And they becoming a lot more careful with who they give mortgages to. So that was the biggest manifestation in my life. Now, when I got divorced for, I think it's been 7 years, right? I was 33, I'm almost 40. So for the past 7 years, I had a lot of trouble manifesting. I knew I had that ability. I've done that in the past, but I had a lot of trouble manifesting. And now when I look back at it, I say, well, yeah, obviously I had a lot of trouble because I had no idea who I was, what my aim was in the past 7 years. I did not have a purpose anymore. I did not get obsessed with anything like I usually do, or when I am on my highest vibration. That's when I get really obsessed with things. And that's when clarity comes. But I did not have that clarity. I was single. I had a big void. I was struggling. There was a lot of issues at work. I almost lost my career. And that is definitely going to be on one of the episodes. I am dying to expose what happened to me in the Department of Education years ago. I got in touch with reporters. I had reporters interested in my story, and they told me, can you please, we can cover you, we can cover your face, change your voice, we want you to tell the story. But I got scared at the time because I still wanted to work with the DOE. I did not have any other options. I mean, there's lots and lots of options, but the DOE financially is the best right now. But now I'm starting to think differently, and we're definitely going to revisit. I'm actually right now reconnecting with some people from my past from the DOE, also the ones that left or the ones still there. And I know they will appreciate very, very much when I tell the truth. It's not time yet, but I feel like it's coming. All right, so back to manifestations. Now that I take psilocybin, and now that I finally found my purpose and I'm vibrating on the highest frequency, manifestation is so easy. It is so easy. And so far, I manifested two little things, not a big deal, but I still manifested them. So one was I had my son 9 years ago. Before I got pregnant, I was like 125 pounds. And when I had him and when I lost all the water weight, I was like 149. I mean, imagine that is a big difference being 120 until you 30 years old, and then after that you have a baby and you're like 30 pounds more, right? That's a lot. Hold on, is it 30, 20, 50? Oh my God, I can't do the math. Anyway, so I had to get used to being in that body, but no, in my mind I'm a skinny girl. Not skinny, but I'm definitely not. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that inside I feel like a girl who is thin and fit. So it was hard for me. It was hard for me to live in the body that I did not belong in, right? And with all dieting and exercising, no, not much. No, I did not exercise that much. I would just go for walks, yeah, but mostly dieting, starving myself, and on keto, I was able to achieve 136, and I've been very happy with that because at least it's a normal BMI, right? Yes, I don't love what I look like. Yes, I will not wear a two-piece bathing suit. Yes, I will not wear a lot of clothes, but at least it's a normal BMI, and at least overall I look okay. But my dream was always since I had my son was I imagined being 129. And immediately as I imagined myself being 129, I said immediately to myself, girl, that's impossible. Look at your lifestyle. You even to be 136, it's like you have to starve yourself. So immediately it was a resistant thought. So what's the point of even wanting something when you're going to give obstacles to your own self? Now that that's gone, yes, I went on scale, and yes, I am 129. And yes, this is going to be the first summer that I'm going to wear a two-piece bathing suit since I had my son. So life is just getting so freaking exciting, guys. Just so exciting. Being comfortable in your own body. Once again, I preach about psilocybin so much. I just preach and preach and preach. But if you just take this one thing, oh my God, I was able to lose weight. I was able to go to the beach wearing two-piece bathing suit. That alone is a miracle, right? So now I want to talk about synchronicities. When I was in that manifestation era, when I was very happy with my ex-husband, and thank you, Alfredo, you really did serve a gigantic purpose in my life, and I hope I did that for you too. During that era, I started seeing 1111 to the point where I said that it means something. It has to mean something. I don't know what it means, but there's no way you can see that all the time on the treadmill, on the clock, and even let's say on my coffee maker. The time was wrong, and I would still see 11:11, right? So I would see 11:11, and then I remember I was at the beach with some girls, and somebody said 11:11, make a wish, and I was like, excuse me, what do you mean? And she said, didn't you know it's a lucky number or angel number or something? And I Googled it and I was like, oh my God. So I was right. So I have been seeing this number. And that's when I discovered this whole manifestation. And I was watching the movie Secret at the time. And I totally believed in all of that stuff. And, I was manifesting and things were working out. So I was aware of my own superpower until I lost it in the past 7 years. Very interesting thing. When I was thinking about divorcing my ex-husband, I kept seeing 7-Eleven, and I was like, well, I'm normally see 11-11. I do not know what 7-Eleven means, but it must mean something. And the more I was unhappy in my marriage and the more I was inclined towards leaving him, the more I saw 7-Eleven, and I interpreted it as a sign that, okay, I should leave him. The universe is telling me, girl, you are on the right track. Yes, it's going to be hard, but don't be afraid. Take that quantum jump or that leap of faith, and you will change your life. So I did. Guess what? When I met my twin 2 years ago, I started seeing 7-Eleven. And I said to him that I see 7-Eleven now, and the last time I kept seeing that when I was leaving my husband. It was the universe telling me years ago that yes, you need to leave your husband because you have a twin flame waiting for you. And that was sick. But I also did not want to freak him out because he had an ex-girlfriend. And I'm actually going to say her name if she ever, by some kind of synchronicity, finds this show, because I was actually looking for her. I was trying to get in touch with her. She's a Russian girl. Her name is Svitana, not Svetlana, but Svitana. I think she was a school nurse, and then she was doing mushrooms with a coach regular, like a few times, I guess. And she was doing it with him too. And I just remembered that he was saying that she was so weird and she was so out there. She was talking to plants and she wanted to be a life coach. And everything was a sign, and everything she saw, all the numbers. So he was like making fun of her. But now that I'm becoming the same way, and he told me when we met, he said, you, surprisingly, you're so much like her, but at the same time, you're so different. Well, guess what, man? I became just like her because now I do mushrooms too. And I also want to be not a life coach, but maybe psychedelic coach or something like that. And because that's what happens. You take mushrooms, you really want to help people. You feel like you have the answers, you unlocked that power, and that's when you want to help people. And I want to actually add something. I have been running into a lot of people that claim to be spiritual, that claim to want to help people, that into psychedelics. But when they start reaching out to me, they are trying to push their product on me. And that's why I do not believe they are real. I do not believe they are really spiritual. I mean, yes, I understand we live in a 3D world. We do need to make money. We do need to survive. If we want to continue helping people, and let's say we quit our jobs because we just can't take it anymore, we just want to dedicate our lives to helping people, then I understand you need obviously money. But honestly, it doesn't feel right to me to be reaching out to people and saying, "Oh, can you like my podcast? Can you share?" No, when you become truly spiritual, you just put something out into the universe and you wait for it to attract the right people and the right circumstances. You don't actually have to go and chase people and try to gain a following. Like, for example, this show, I assumed that it was going to be for microdosers, for people that are familiar with psychedelics. Turns out that people that are microdosers already and familiar with psychedelics, they are not going to be interested because they already know all of this information. So data is a very interesting thing. Spotify data is showing me that 100% of our audience is women, and they are in our age group, which is 35 to 45 years old. So here you go. This is the audience that we found. I'm not going to target a specific audience, and I'm going to simply follow my heart, because when I'm in microdosing groups on Facebook and I see that someone genuinely wants to get information, someone genuinely says, I need help, I need somebody to explain to me what is this thing going to do to me, and that's when my heart tells me reach out to these people. If they want help, they will accept it. If they don't want, fine, no problem. So I decided that I'm not going to try to promote this show. I'm not selling any products. I'm not doing tarot readings. I do have a job that pays really well. And if it doesn't, I will go and find another one, because thankfully I have a really good career and a very good resume and a lot of connections. I just texted my ex. She was a coach, right? School-based coach. And she left not too long ago. She was wonderful. And I shared this show with her. And I want to see, I just want to keep in touch with everybody from my past who also worked with me for the DOE, went through the same experiences. And I have absolutely zero doubt that if I need money, I will go and get the money. I do not need to go and chase people. They will come to me. Whoever needs my help, they will come to me. Intuition. I always had very heightened intuition. I think that all of those things are related, right? The manifestation, intuition, synchronicities. You do this all the time. You just don't realize that you do that. But once you become really fluent at it, you start to realize, okay, I'm doing this. And since I have this power, I can do whatever I want. And then you start to consciously do this. Um, My intuition was already very, very heightened. I don't really even have examples. It just was almost like an everyday thing. I just listened to my intuition. Now, what happened to my intuition is sick. It is sick. I read people now. I went out with Yana and some other girls. It was my first week of microdosing. We went out dancing, and it was the best experience. By the way, go out. Go out dancing. Listen to that music. Is gonna go straight to your soul. You're gonna want to dance like you've never danced before, and you're gonna look around and look at the crowd, and you're gonna be able to read people. And I remember I did a little tiny experiment. It was me, Yana, and our friend Joyce, who is gorgeous. Joyce, if you are listening to me, and of course you are, because I'm going to send it to you, you are the most feminine girl, the most beautiful, so sweet and so gentle. Like, you're the most feminine girl that I've ever met. I even had a little bit of like a girl crush on you, not in the sexual way. It's just because you're very feminine. And the way you take care of yourself, the way you dress, and you're just like this divine woman. Like, you're this perfect woman that I think every man should strive for, right? You have this feminine energy around you. However, you need to work on your insecurities, and I hope I can help you with that. We'll work on that. So when we went out together, I said, I am going to just sit back. I'm not even going to look at anyone. I'm not going to make eye contact with anyone. I'm just going to be in my energy. I'm going to enjoy this music and see what happens. And literally, out of a crowd, this dude jumps out of the crowd and grabs me to dance. Meanwhile, it's me, Joycey, and Yana, and I feel like Joycey and Yana are gorgeous girls, right? So it's not about how gorgeous you are. It's about your energy. And I danced with the guy, and absolutely just his purpose was to give me that 5 minutes of joy of dancing. I did not look at him as someone to potentially date. He was like in his 20s, and I said to him, thank you so much for this dance. It's so nice. And that was it, right? You accept everyone in your life, even if it's for 5 minutes, and you welcome it, and you're grateful they were in your life. And that's the intuition and the energy, right? So I'm talking about. I would like to finish this episode because, as usual, I'm going on and on and on. Yana does not have a lot of experience with manifestation, meaning she probably manifested things her whole life, but she just did not see it or acknowledge it. But now she's becoming more self aware, and I've been giving her homeworks to manifest things. Like, for example, again, very, very tiny little thing, might seem insignificant, is that I was driving in the morning and I listened to podcasts. And obviously, all these logos are on my screen. And I said, okay, I want to see my show on this screen. I want to be driving to work in the morning and listening to my show, or not even listening, but to have that logo pop up. And of course, I manifested that. The show is out now. And oh, one last thing I want to tell you. Very interesting stories. I was looking at manifestations on TikTok, and I ran into this blue feather manifestation. The guy was saying that it's like a phenomenon. If you envision finding a blue feather, you can feel it, you can touch it, you imagine that you saw it somewhere. And then the guy saw the blue feather, and everything started working out in his life. So I was like, all right, what the hell, let's try it. So I envisioned that I found the blue feather. I go to work the next day. I open my closet. Again, I'm a teacher. So I open my closet, and this whole bag of colorful feathers falls out. And I was like, well, is that what it is? Because that's not really clear. These are just all different feathers, and they're all different colors. So I put it back in the closet. I'm walking home. I'm leaving my classroom. I'm alone in the hallway. And what do I see on the floor? A blue feather. I even took a picture of it and sent it to my ex, my twin flame. He did not think it was nothing life-changing, but I said, all right, why is there only one blue feather on the floor? Yes, it came out of my classroom probably when the bag fell on the floor, and then the wind and the people and the door kicked it into the hallway. But still, why is it only the blue feather? So that's a fun story. Try that. Try that. Do the blue feather manifestation. All right, friends, I will wrap it up now. It is episode 5. Next week on Saturday, we have a big Galentine's party where I will be interviewing girls from our friend group. I think it's going to be awesome. But before that, we might record another episode. And at this point, I don't even know. It's just coming. I don't know what happens because this is just like real life at this point. There's no planning, there's no note taking. As soon as you feel inspired to talk about something, you go on and you talk about it. So I will see you next time. Bye, guys.